just did an interview with some of my clients, JP and Stephen from Skinlogic Expert. I've been helping them with their advertising, lead generation, client acquisition for the last couple of years. I do Facebook ads, Google ads to get you more leads and customers for your business. I do this for a range of different businesses as well: aesthetics clinics, dentists, construction businesses, any sort of business that needs leads to then make sales from. I can do this for, and yeah, just a bit of feedback from them, how it's going, what their experience has been like with me, just to let you know that I am a real person, I am a real business, and I can't promise you the world, but I can promise you more sales.
Fair enough. All right.
Start lying about how good Adam is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in the calendar. It said let's lie out about how good Adam is. I can't believe JP said
I
that. No, I just wind you up. No, I've been working together for a long time now, about year and a half or so. A bit more actually, nearly 2 years to be fair. And 2 years ago, I was like just cold calling everyone under the sun, and luckily you guys did jump on a call with me, and we did after a few months get things working, which is great. Um, my main question is just sort of how was things back then? Like, what was the goal? What was the vision, and sort of how has that come along, and how have I facilitated some of that? And yeah, just sort of what's your experience overall with sort of working with me, and sort of the results that you get in, the quality of people that you get in, the people that you keep in, sort of how has that sort of affected you and stuff?
think what I would say first of all, before we get into it, is the fact that when you first contacted us, Adam, we'd had like contact from lots of different people or experiences of lots of different people. And one of the things that I found interesting is that your email said, your background, and I'm prepared to do some work for you until we earn money. And I said to Stephen, I says, one of the things that I found really interesting is the fact that as a company, we're always giving away stuff to try and expand and increase business and,
Mm.
grow the brand and market and all the rest of it. So I think there's a lot of companies that will like do demos and give away free stuff and do discounts to try and increase their business. Whereas you were saying to us, like, let me help you, but you're going to be giving something free. So the experience of other people for marketing was very much like, no, you're going to pay because I can't prove I'm going to do it, but you are going to pay for the service. Whereas what you were actually saying was,
I'll prove it
I'm
first.
going to prove it. I'm actually going to give you something, and that's going to be the starting point. And that's one of the main reasons why we started with you, because your approach was exactly the same as all the other clinics, And since we've been working with
Mm.
you, and I obviously interact with other marketing companies, nobody's actually done that. Everybody basically says you have to pay X amount. I might not be able to get you any customers or so forth, or I can't prove how many I'm going to get for you, but you've still got to pay the money. That was like the
Mm.
first starting point.
Mm.
Mm.
And then I think what happened then is that because we did the body contouring, so I like the skin thing was sort of okay, I was okay with it. We needed to get Stephen's body contouring up and running and everything. And you launched his body contouring, and the consultations went crazy,
It
didn't they?
did, yeah. It did go crazy, and I was busy.
But I think as well, one of the things like we've said, like even though at that initial, and it's continued, but that initial period, it was like very busy. I can't remember the exact sort of number or rough number per month, but it was a decent amount. But also one of the things that we recognised, and we've always sort of recognised, is the caliber of the clients that come through are generally very good. you
Mm.
know it's the names that the names that you're getting, the clients' names that come up on the list, they're generally very credible. They generally are asking the right sorts of questions, and
Mm.
even if somebody comes in for a consultation and they don't spend, sometimes the reason could be literally down to the fact that they haven't got the money at that point in time, and the reality is that everybody can't afford everything. It's like going to a car showroom. You might go into a car showroom and go, "Oh, I actually can't afford it," and there's not really much you can do about it because they haven't got the money. But they were still credible.
Yeah.
You know, they were still having good conversations, strong conversations. Would there be a client for the future? Potentially. But I don't know whether like
But we've also had conversations like when we've had clients in, and the whole point of our business is to help the clients. And like John Paul said, you're getting those credible leads for us, and they're coming in, and if they come in and the money's an issue, it's not that we won't help them. We'll either nurture them for some time in the future, or we come up with, and we'll be flexible with how we'll take a payment from them. And that's why it's important that they come in for their consultation and actually come and see us. You've done that hard work, and then it's up to us then to help them on their journey.
but I think as well that your conversion rate is really high.
Mm.
So like when people came in for body contouring, not a lot left without signing up. So I think that says a lot, the fact that you've booked clients in and clients have come through, and the majority of them signed up. It was only a small percentage that, let's say, other challenges or they couldn't afford it. But that's the reality of this industry, marketing or aesthetics. There's always going to be a percentage who won't sign up, but there's a higher percentage that sign up. It's almost like you do the bookings and you get the bookings in, but there's not that many times you waste our time.
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm sort of saying is just to reinforce is the fact that you're getting us clienteles that come in and you're doing a lot of filtering on the phone. Yes, we have no shows, which is like that's got no reflection on you or reflection on us. That's like so many different reasons, but the reality is that you get us a huge amount of like bookings, and I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, sorry, what was you going to say?
yeah, no,
I was
that's a good point.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
was
sure.
going to say, obviously, at the point of our initial conversation with you, again, like John Paul said, you reached out to us. We had that conversation. You said, I can't make any guarantees, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work for you, and I'm going to prove that my system and how I work will work for you before you pay me. You didn't ask for money up front. And that's what we, as a new business, we really appreciated, that there was somebody else out there like yourself starting up. You wanted to sort of work more in a collaborative way than you're going to pay me for my services and we're not going to guarantee you anything. And you could have filled our books with rubbish, but you didn't, and they were credible. The goal at that point for us was, we both worked full time. The goal was for me to then, sort of transition from me having a full time job and working in the clinic to working full time in the clinic. And, I admit, it's been sort of 2 years now, but today's my first day full time in the clinic, because we've nurtured those clients and we've reached that goal. And I knew that goal was not going to be 3 months, 6 months, and what have you, because we were a new business as well. We had to build our reputation, and you've certainly helped us to do that with the ads that you've run for us. So it might have taken us 2 years, and obviously other established businesses out there that already have that established client base can only build on what they've got by using your services, whereas we didn't have that established client base. So it has taken that bit longer for us on our journey, but we finally got there, and that's thanks to you and what you've done in the background.
That's good. That's really good to hear. And yeah, like Stephen's just said, it is Stephen's first full day of going full time, so that's a really massive change. So congrats to Stephen on that. But yeah, there's also one thing, like you mentioned, JP, is that sort of yes, it's consultations, and you guys are really good at converting. Some clinics might find that hard to do, but do you think that's a fair trade-off? Because as a marketing company, I can do my best to get people in the door, but I can't necessarily sell them that 1,000, 2,000 quid package if I'm not there just over the phone, or anyone that I would employ can't do that. So do you think that it's sort of you're getting a fair value by getting all of those people in, all of that time, the skill with sort of editing videos, making the ads, the admin of sort of just constantly booking people in and dealing with people on the phone? Do you think that's sort of a fair trade-off
Absolutely.
in terms of what you
Absolutely.
get?
I think the thing is the good thing is about your system is we can listen to every single phone conversation that you have, and when you are talking to the clients, like you've obviously got the knowledge and you've strengthened your knowledge over the time that we've known you, so you can answer most of the questions on the phone, but your objective is to then bounce them into a consultation, so you'll answer the initial conversations, but then you need to have a conversation with the specialist, and that's your objective, and that's what happens. Then when it comes to the point of myself or Stephen, the responsibility is then now on us, to have the conversations about the treatments, to explain the benefits, to explain why you need these services, but also to have the skill set or the confidence to close the sale. The reality is that from our experience, you're getting us very credible bookings, and we're noticing that, or we've always noticed it, because of the valid conversations that we're having with the clients. They're not waste of time, they're not people who are not interested, but the responsibility lies on us, so if you got us 20 consultations in a month, and every single one of those consultations turned up, if we don't get them to sign up for any treatments, the responsibility is with us, and that's when me and Steve will evaluate, and we'll say things, what could we have done better? How do we strengthen the process up? Do we now need to do, catch-up calls? You've brought them into the business, but then we then have to then,
Manage and follow up.
So do you email your clients as soon as you've done your consultations? Do you do phone calls? Do you back it up with texts? Do you communicate with them a week, 2 weeks, a month later? That's on us, But as far as I'm aware, you're getting is a large amount of credible conversations. If they don't book in, we always look at it from our perspective and never from a marketing perspective.
No, so I'm glad we touched on that. It's just because in the marketing space and all of these companies, they're promising like really unrealistic sort of offers, like, oh, we will get you 50 paid bookings or you don't pay. And the reality is a lot of clinics, especially when I'm signing clinics up and I go, just something as simple as send me your content. It's just maybe some iPhone footage. Their website has been not touched in like 5 years. They don't, they have like 200 followers on social media. And I do say with other clients as well, like you don't have the infrastructure to say, yes, I'm going to run an ad and get 150 quid appointment, just booked, paid with card, prepaid. But the problem is these marketing agencies that don't necessarily know what they're doing, or just saying it for the sake of getting someone on a sales call. They're saying, look, we can get you 20, 30 paid bookings, paid body sculpting packages, or you don't pay, we'll send you 5,000 quid for your inconvenience. They're making up all of these silly things when in reality, the clinic doesn't have the infrastructure to do that. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have all of the websites, the sales funnels, the quality of videos, the social media following to demand someone to come to their website with maybe 2 or 3 reviews and a couple of before and after photos, and then book a pay by card £150 like an appointment. It's just not realistic. So it's good that you've sort of mentioned how I'm getting you consultations, I'm giving you sales opportunities, but not necessarily sales, because realistically, no marketing company can actually do that if your clinic doesn't have an infrastructure for it. And obviously, I just give you more opportunities.
Sorry, the thing is, Adam, is, with what you're doing, you put the ads together, you're putting it out there, you're getting us those credible leads. That's your part of, I suppose, the contract done. You've met your obligation and agreement that we've had with you by getting us those leads. Once those leads walk through the door, it's down to us. And people buy people. If you do a good consultation with them, if you have that confidence to have difficult conversations, people will buy into that and they buy into your trust. And I think that's the certainly I find for me, because I don't have a problem saying no to a client. Just because they've walked through the door and I've paid for that ad and I've effectively paid for your time, and then my time I've given for free. So effectively we paid for that too. I still don't have a problem saying no. It's not that, it's not out of desperation that I need everybody to sign up. It's about what's right. And that's the whole point of it, isn't it? You've got to make sure that you feel comfortable with that person as much as they feel comfortable with you. So, a strong consultation is down to us. And like Jon Paul said, if they walk away and they want to think about it and you never hear them again, hear from them again, you start to recognise those that are just coming in for a chat, that are just on a fishing expedition as such. They're just coming in to get the information to then go off and do their own thing, and that's fine. People can do that, and they're the customers and the clients that we lose, and we're absolutely fine with that because we know we've still given a really strong consultation. And those that then do buy into us, they buy us as people. They want their lasers, they want their body sculpting, they want these treatments, but they're buying into us as people as well. And we have some fun appointments. I talk all the time with my clients, and we laugh and joke and get on ever so well, sort of thing. And I know Jon Paul does the same. So
I think linking up to two things, like what Stephen just said about people want people, and then Adam, you were saying, people need their social media, their video content, and so forth. The reality is that the industry, there's a huge amount of competition, and the industry is oversaturated. So when you get clients booked in, potentially the first thing that they're going to do is look on somebody's website, look on their social media, look on their Google reviews, and if the information isn't there, if they haven't got credible branding or anything like that, your consultations are only going to be as strong as what everyone else has implemented, because people buy people, and the reality is that if your digital setup is not there, or you haven't got your in-person, protocols or anything, you're not going to be able to retain the bookings that you're going to book in. That's like a factor. But then also secondary, like when we were mentioning about like how credible your bookings are, if we start to get people that are coming through and we're like not too sure what's happening, maybe their conditions, their concerns are maybe not what we would treat, maybe they're not as credible as we think, we then have meetings with you, and then we just reevaluate the campaigns. So the great thing is working with you is the fact that you can always bounce back, you can always feedback. And in theory, every month or every campaign can change, depends on who's coming in.
Yeah, that's a good thing as well. Because there's always it's never been just sort of straight up, and it will never be like that, because there will be sometimes some constraints. Ads get boring. Sometimes we don't do as good as usual, and obviously we fix that, and that's realistic for any service. That goes on for a long time. There might be some ups and downs, but we always deal with that and build solutions so that we can get around that. For example, there's been points where we had loads and loads of no-shows. We've worked on that. We've made loads of different systems to avoid no-shows and sort of pick that up. Like you said as well, sort of following up with people post appointment. That was a constraint because it's a big time killer. Trying to organise that and enforce that. So basically, when you mark an appointment as showed, you can get someone to you get an AI message to go out and basically give them a nudge without you having to do it. You can also go in for a Google review as well to build the credibility. So we built loads of solutions like that, and it's quite dynamic. Every client has different solutions, different needs, different problems. So yeah, obviously it's never always been just constantly up. There's been ups and downs, but we've always sort of got past them, which is good.
And that's the thing, that it's always about evaluating. It's always about how can we improve, how can we change it. It's not just like a one trick pony.
mm,
I
yeah.
think the thing is as well, Adam, is that I don't know what your other customers are like, or because obviously I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm very aware of like different businesses and so forth. But I don't know whether you recognise the fact that you've had high success for a male-run business. So
Mm,
it's generally perceived as like a female-dominated industry, and in theory, you obviously got me and Stephen, and then the doctor that works here is also a man. And I don't know about Stephen, but it's never really had negative responses from clients. All of the clients that you've had conversations with, it's generally never been a factor. And I think like managing, let's say, a male-run business, I would probably throw out there to say it's not easy to do that.
It's not.
Do you see where I'm coming
Yeah,
from?
I mean, we've had some clients that have asked if we have female therapists, and we say no, and they're okay with it, and they're fine, and they've still ended up coming in for treatments. And then we've had some clients, for religious reasons, that might have asked for female therapist, and again, we said no. We're male-led clinic as such, and they've come along with their husbands and they've dealt with the situation, and we've been respectful of that, and they've still had their treatments with us. So yeah,
But it's the fact that Adam
it's a USP, isn't it?
is marketing us. And when we first started off, like we were a little bit like, I'm not too sure how people's sort of approach and everything would be, but it doesn't seem to have impacted at all. I mean, our journey may be slower than other clinics. You might be able to get bigger numbers into other clinics, but that's the reality of the industry. It's very gender sort of led. But the fact that one of your customers is a male-dominated clinic, like the amount of consultations that you get booked in, I think it's a very positive.
Yeah.
Even for me, because like for example, most of the time, except I have experimented sometimes with staff, I'm actually the one doing the calls, and
Yeah.
I just some bloke from Essex that you wouldn't really expect that someone like me to be on the other end of the phone talking about body sculpting or skin boosters. So even for me, I understand the challenge that you're facing, and hopefully with a bit of time and as I scale a little bit, I will get the UK sort of female receptionist, because that will really facilitate me, give me a bit more time to expand and stuff. But just sort of linking on to that, we have tried where I've hired overseas. I just want to get a bit of a overview on sort of how did you feel when I did that for sort of a month or two, hiring overseas, experimenting with that, and sort of how it is sort of with people having sort of staff in the UK, like what's sort of the difference? Because obviously we've had both sort of working together.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't like using an overseas call center personally. The reason I don't like it, and it's no disrespect to these people in these countries, they've got to earn a living, I get it. However, we're very much in a society these days that we have spam calling all the time, cold calling all the time. And when you answer the phone, and you hear a foreign accent, it can sometimes switch you off straight away.
Mm.
And I I just don't feel that it necessarily works.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like it worked for us.
No.
I feel like it had a detrimental impact on some of our leads when you did that.
Hmm.
We don't obviously hold you responsible for that because we've got to try these things. We've got to try. It just doesn't work for us.
Hmm.
I think the thing is when you hear the automated or the recorded calls, it just at that first point of call when somebody answers the phone and there's a delay in the call because it's a different country and then there's a different accent, all of a sudden you can hear somebody just reject, switch off, like not interested. So almost just in that short space of time, leads were lost, really.
Hmm.
But like we we massively preferred the fact that you were answering the call because people were straight away, oh my God, there's a guy on the phone. So that was easier for it because they're going to see guys.
It was a continuity as well. So they've spoken to a guy, they've walked in, and they've got a male
Mm.
practitioner dealing with them. So it
Mm.
adds to that continuity. So I appreciate, obviously, there are clinics and businesses out there that would hire a female receptionist. I'm not opposed to hiring a female receptionist at all. But also by the same token, I think especially when you're speaking to a potential male lead, if there's a man on the end of the phone, you might be able to hook them better. So I
Mm.
don't know why it's predominantly female when men spend more on their skin care and things like that.
Well, male skincare is billions,
Yeah.
but people just forget about it. And the thing is like I do the skin and Stephen does the body. The skin side for me has got to be at least 70% men. So that's a huge amount of revenue that comes through. And we think you help that. But also in reflection, Adam, I know that you work for a lot of other female dominated clinics. And the
Mm.
clinics that I speak to that you manage have never said that having a man do their calls is negative. So
It's
even
rarely been an issue.
no, so even though you're booking in predominantly females in the female business, like I speak to those other clinic managers, and it's never been a factor. But we did find having a delay and a foreign accent in the
Yeah.
UK wasn't a positive thing.
Mm. No, that's fair. That's fair enough. And from my personal sort of experience, I want to now hire UK based, and I'll be happy to sort of invest more money and sort of stretch the business finances a bit more to do that, to give my clients like yourselves a better quality, and also give me time back to then sort of go out and get more sales and stuff like that. So that's something I'll personally be doing in the future, and maybe the next sort of 3 to 6 months. But my last thing is just sort of overall plans for you guys. So, sort of the next year or so, like until sort of 2026, what's sort of the vision? Obviously, Stephen's full time now.
I need to
Yeah,
build up now.
and that's it.
Yeah, you need to fill my books for me now.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
No problem.
pressure.
First priority is getting Stephen more leads. But I sent you that bridal thing, and I think we almost need to do a March campaign of not the generic what we've done. I think we need like a videographer to come into clinic, and we need to do like a bride getting into a dress, and the March pitch is calling brides, as it were, and focusing. Because the thing is that I think what's happening is because I don't know if you realise, but you know, Zempic and there's another one beginning with M, and I can't remember. Everybody's having fat reduction injections now.
Mm.
So everybody I know that's doing fat freezing that has been massively impacted because a lot of people are having injectables. But one of the biggest industries who will pay and who is very body focused now is the brides getting into their wedding dresses. So I'm not too sure whether we almost forget about like the usual body contouring and just maybe go for hit the brides.
We could, as long as we do have that infrastructure, like you said, like we have that videography in place. Like if we've got that content in place, absolutely.
Yeah, I just need to chase
Absolutely.
somebody. But also our goals for the future, Adam, is the space we're in now is like a living space, but we're going to hopefully convert it into a clinic. So the clinic's going to expand potentially this year. Our objective is that you're going to be doing less leads for me because I'll establish my side of it a lot more so. And then if we can get a female practitioner to do 50% laser hair removal, 50% body contouring, your pictures then are going to move on to that person. That's what we're hoping for.
Okay. Nice. And that's it. I think we covered everything pretty much.
Cool.
That was a really good
Brilliant.
conversation.